Tonight we're going to talk about a very important topic, the topic of power. And how, in the world that we have been living, we have this hierarchical structure, and we believe that there are people that are in a position of power or authority that lead us and we follow. The politicians, the governments, the kings, the queens, um, your boss, anybody who has a higher position and more responsibility uh, is in a position of power. And how those people use that power that they have over others, technically, it's not always what's supposed to be, in the sense that they're supposed to use it wisely, but essentially they're human. And sometimes people in those positions are in those positions not because they actually have the qualities and the empathy and the compassion and the intelligence and the knowledge needed to be in that position, but because they want to feel empowered by ruling over others. And that gives them an ego boost and a sense of security. And they're daring enough to say, I'm going to take this position. But what I want to focus on now is the world that we're shifting into, of where we are beginning to recognize our own internal power, and that we don't need a position, a title, a degree, or anything like that to be in power. Because to be in power is to actually be in control of yourself, to know yourself, and to know the power that you possess on the inside. And we have so many kinds of power: the power of non reacting, the power of becoming more conscious and aware, the power of making a choice, and hopefully a conscious choice, the power of imagination, the power of willpower. If you decide that you want to lose weight and you gotta cut out sugar, can you stick to that? If you want to write a book, can you finish it and get it published? The power of courage and determination, the power of pursuing our dreams, even if the outside world thinks that we're crazy and everybody tells us that's impossible. The power of persistence and perseverance, the power of choosing who to listen to, and the power of silence the people that don't believe in the things that we believe in, if we believe in them strongly. The power to believe. What do you choose to believe in? Do you believe a disempowering story somebody else created for you? Or can you create an empowering story for yourself and believe in that one? Think of the amount of power that we possess: the power of the intellect and the heart and the soul and the body, the power of discernment. With all of the content that exists nowadays, what kind of content you choose to consume? Do you engage in gossip and drama? Or do you focus on things that enrich and educate and delight you and make you laugh and contribute to you in some constructive way? See all of the power that we possess? And the same with the power of imagination, the power of choosing faith over fear every time, the power of choosing love over hate, the power of responding intelligently even to unintelligent treatment, the power of being kind even when others are unkind to us, The power of speaking the truth, even when it's hard, even when your voice is shaking, even when everybody else wants to gaslight you back into submission. The power of standing out, the power of going the opposite way of everybody else, just because where everybody else is going is not aligned with your heart and soul. The power of being authentic, the power of choosing yourself and your values over groupthink, the power of being positive, which I had so many people trying to bring me down because I'm positive and tell me that it's not realistic and I should be negative. But if they actually truly understood, and that's why actually they do it, is because they are aware deep down inside that this is the ultimate power, that our thoughts and feelings create our reality, and that it's their negative thinking that creates negative situations for themselves. And when we think positively, was that quote, that the optimist is going to see an opportunity in every difficulty, and the pessimist is going to see a difficulty in every opportunity. I'm not sure who said that. But to remain positive, even in difficult situations, that is power. To see possibilities, to be able to remain calm when other people normally lose their cool, and to stay open to see options and not give in to fear. The power of faith and believing is also a huge one. And I had people hate me for that too. Projecting their self hate onto me is the correct way to say it. But the power to really, like, a lot of people say they believe in source, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. But when it comes to the actual trusting and showing that you really believe, almost everybody drops out. The power of true faith, the power of true love. It's easy to love the ones that love us, but to love the ones that hurt us and the ones that deliberately hurt us, and to help them even if they try to bring you down, that's power. So how are you using your power? And a lot of times the way we find our power is when somebody tries to make us submit, in a sense, or take away our power, but it's only because we actually have made an agreement to give it away. And when we encounter a difficult situation where we kind of have to use our power, and that's how it gets unlocked, because there's no one else to turn to. And the more we do it, the more self-reliant we become, because we realize that that's how things work. When things get really difficult and there's no way out, if you trust, surrender, let go, and have faith that something is going to happen, a new power gets unlocked within you, and the situation transforms. But if you are coming out of lack, limitation, and fear, and you cling to a life of security and comfort, you always give your power away to something outside of yourself to preserve that. Whereas if you are daring and choose to keep expanding, and stay in your power and guard your soul and your heart and individuality, even when people try to sway you this way and that way and this way and that way, and you're like, no, I don't believe in this. No, I actually don't want to do that. No, this perception that you have of me is a reflection of you. It has nothing to do with me, actually. And if you stay true to yourself, eventually what Thoreau says is true, that you move away from this human matrix of laws that we have, and you open up into the universal laws, which work with perfect precision, and you begin to use your power wisely because you realize how powerful you are and how powerful everybody else is, but they're unaware and they abuse their power, give it away to other people. One simple example is the news. If you watch the news and believe it, there goes your power. Because even if the things in the news are true, they're a tiny fraction of what is actually happening in the world. And there's so many news going on around you that you turn off, like the actual real world, because you have a screen turned on that is showing you what somebody else wants you to see, a curated selection. So contemplate on this. It's a very big, important topic. These are just some things that came to mind tonight. Um, the power of your subconscious mind, that's the one thing that is worth exploring. Uh, because that's where a lot of these programs are stored, including the programs that willingly guide us to give away our power to somebody else outside of us, especially to somebody or something that we presumed to be an authority figure. And I believe like the journey of life is that to constantly recognize, like in a video game, it's like you go through ordeal after ordeal or ordeal, and if you pass successfully, you gain more power and a new skill set because you conquered something, and most of the time the externalization of the thing is just something that's going on in your subconscious mind, a pattern, a program. So that's why we need to always use forgiveness and look at things from a greater perspective and know that the people, circumstances we attract are always aligned for them and for us so we can learn and get better at using our own power, not abusing it, not wanting to rule over somebody else to feel power, but really understanding the power of self mastery and focusing on ourselves and developing our powerful faculties better and making wiser choices, practicing discernment, imagining the best for us and everybody else. Having courage, determination, perseverance, willpower to go for our dreams. Um, the power to remain authentic, the power to stand behind our truth and at the same time be loving and kind, yet having healthy boundaries and saying no to everything that insults our soul. Another quote here. You got it inside of you. Use it wisely.